Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's training webinar with Railbookers. Thank you all for taking time to join us this morning. On the right-hand side, you will notice we do have the handouts tab. If you do click there, you should be able. Oh, sorry, no, I can see that the handouts are actually missing on this one. What I will do is reach out to you all individually after today's presentation and get those all sent out to you. And thank you, Holly, for pointing that out. We do also have a questions tab, and so please do pop in any questions you may have throughout today's presentation in there, and as we get to those, I will answer those towards the end, or if I do notice them as we go through. My name's Levi Barrett, and I will be your host for today. Today we'll be looking at life on board sleeper trains with Railbookers. So what will we be covering in today's presentation? Of course, some of our most popular trips, including sleeper trains across Europe. We'll also be looking at what some of the train operators are doing at the moment to keep your customers safe whilst travelling. Some great offers from Railbookers at the moment. Here we have some of those offers, savings of between £300 and £500 off of Switzerland, Scotland, Vienna, or Italy via the Alps trip. So whether that be heading into Venice, Verona, the Amalfi Coast, there's tons and tons of options. And £500 off of the Italian lakes and the Swiss mountains itinerary. So we'll just be taking a couple of moments just to cover why agents love Railbookers, if you don't, and why you will soon. So we have a global team allowing support for your travellers or yourself from inquiry all the way through to post-travelling. We've got offices in Sydney, Australia, Toronto, Canada, and 2 offices over in the States, one on both the East and West Coast. And these are some of our direct rail partnerships. So we've been working with these rail operators for over 16 years now, with our colleagues over at Trenitalia, Eurostar, and of course Amtrak, where we are the only official tour operator globally. I'm sure any of you who have popped together these sorts of trips previously have a calendar trying to revisit those bookings. As you know, they all release at different times. Here we have our maximum flexibility offer. What it is, it's made a huge difference for us. It allows you to give us a call up to 5 days prior to departure, and we are then able to defer or postpone your customer's trip for any date within the next 2 years without them incurring any change or cancellation fees whatsoever. And that's on new or existing bookings booked by the end of December. We launched this back in March and has allowed us to rebook huge numbers of our customers and given them confidence to be able to book for spring or summer next year, and being able to defer the trip following onto 2022 should they so wish for any reason whatsoever. If you would like more info on this, please do let us know and we will be able to take a look at that for you. And we do have our Dropbox, our travel agent toolbox as well. So in there, you'll find our digital brochures, as we have stopped sending out our physical copies at the moment. There may be a couple lying around. If you would like, let us know and we can see if we can get our hands on those for you. We've also got lots of customizable flyers and social media assets. So nice JPEGs for Facebook, as well as some videos and blog posts as well. If you could tag us in those when you post them, that'd be great, with a hashtag Railbookers or hashtag Amtrak Vacations, just so we can sort of see what you find useful as agents, as we like to keep it as up to date and as helpful as possible. So any feedback would be much appreciated. Myself and Charlie both have Facebook pages, as well as the official Railbookers Facebook page, and we will be posting offers week by week. You will receive an email from GoToWebinar with a link to the Dropbox after this. There's no password needed, just click on it and you're good to go. Feel free to use absolutely any of the content in there. So, big question for us at the moment, both from consumers and from agents. what are the rail operators doing to maintain a safe environment for travel at the moment? So of course, facial coverings in and on trains, in stations and on trains for both passengers and staff. They have limited the sale of food and drink on board majority of trains. It doesn't mean you're not allowed to eat or drink throughout the whole journey. You can still bring your own food and drink on board the trains, so not to worry there. A lot of train operators at the moment have changed the seating configuration and allocation, allowing for social distancing. So whether that is by leaving out sort of rows on the train or bookings in separate bubbles throughout the service. They've also increased cleaning and sanitation throughout, so not just deep cleans once a week, they're doing it daily deep cleaning, as well as during, whilst the trains are actually operating, there will be cleaning going on board as well. Contactless ticket control, and so less of the paper tickets being sent out, physical paper tickets. They have actually been sort of phasing these out slowly over the last couple of years, but with the pandemic at the moment, they have massively increased that. So a lot more e-tickets and apps on phones with those sorts of codes on there, being able to allow for contactless ticket checking, basically. So it's given people a bit more peace of mind, as you know, people still want to get away. They just need that extra bit of confidence in the actual holiday itself. So that's made a huge difference. So now on to some of our lovely trips. This one starting and ending in London, the Scottish Highlands and Skye. This actually takes us on board one of only 2 sleeper trains in the UK. The Caledonian Sleeper, all very new on board, as it was only updated in the middle of last year. With this trip, we include a visit to Caledonian Castle as part of a day trip to Skye, as well as stays in Inverness and in Edinburgh. Starting at just £649 per person. On the right-hand side here, this is what the Caledonian Sleeper looks like. So as you can see, very new on board. On the right-hand side, we have a classic room with the 2 bunks and fold-out table. Really comfortable, spacious, really great option for a starter train holiday, really, a bit closer to home. It's perfect. They then also have a club room, which has an ensuite, and that's bathroom and wash basin, so all in there, and includes breakfast as well. And that's usually around £15 per person to upgrade from a classic to a club room, so definitely recommended if available, of course, because they, as you can guess, really popular option. We then have the Caledonian Double on the top left there. You can see that. You may guess it actually has a double bed on board, and there's very few of these on board trains around the world. And there's only ever 2 or 3 on these types of cabin on board each service. So again, sells out months in advance. The Caledonian Sleeper does feature an onboard restaurant and lounge car serving local foods and whiskies, and so whether that be haggis, neeps and tatties as you're heading up, or some just nice salmon, whatever floats your boat, it takes you all the way up and is a really great option. Some of the sights your customers will experience whilst on this trip. Now a little further afield, we have the Prague City Break, and this includes an overnight sleeper train from Zurich through to Prague. Your customers will then have a 3-night stay in Prague, of course, arriving early into Prague. So basically have 4 full days whilst there. So it makes a huge difference taking the overnight sleeper from Zurich, arriving in nice and early into Prague, and checking into a hotel and having the full day to explore. Whilst in Prague, we do include a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour pass, and that's for the entire stay your customers are there. And this starts at just £789. It begins with a Eurostar through to Paris, and then a high-speed TGV train onto Zurich. The customers then have some time to experience Zurich or have a meal before taking the overnight sleeper through the Arlberg Pass into Prague. So just to give you an idea of what the majority of sleeper trains look like across Europe, a lot of them are operated by the same company, but even if they're not, a lot of them look very much similar to this. So in terms of options, here we have a couchette, which sleeps 4 or 6 people with folding out bunks from the side, and again, day seating. There is a blind at the back there, so a large window, so you get sights to be able to see outside. It's a really great option for families if you've got any families taking these sleeper options, as it also saves on overnight and it's a wonderfully fun experience to take. Up from the couchettes, we have our overnight sleeper cabins, and they're for single use as well as double, and some can actually fit 3 in it as well. During the day, there'll be upright seating, as you can see there on the top left. Before the walls or the beds pull out the wall, and you can have 2 or 3 bunks in one cabin. They do offer both economy and deluxe cabins on board. Deluxe again has its own private bathroom and toilet, whereas the economy just has a wash basin with toilets just a few steps away, and those are only shared with with travellers sleeping in the same carriage as you. Sleeper inclusions, so you do actually get a welcome pack on board the majority of sleeper trains, including towels, toiletries, slippers, and of course earplugs. Anyone travelling who's travelled on a sleeper train previously, it can make a difference, although I like to soak in the full experience. Included with these journeys, you do also get a welcome drink and a light continental breakfast, and you can also order refreshments to your cabin as well. However, you're not confined to your cabin. You can get up and stretch your legs and explore the rest of the train. And here we have some of the sights of Prague. Also, you have the Vltava River, heading straight down the middle of it. And the hop-on, hop-off pass included in this trip will take your customers around the full city. So you really do get to see it all. I love with the hop-on, hop-off passes myself, and taking the full route the first day, and then choosing where I'd like to go back and see in a bit more detail, really, I suppose. Heading north, we have the Northern Lights itinerary here. It's 9-day itinerary starting at just 1939 per person. Starts and ends in Oslo. We do include a flight from the UK, return flights from the UK. Starting off with 2 nights in Oslo before heading north to Trondheim, known as on board the railway, known as the Dover Railway, passing mountains, forests, lakes. This takes around 6.5 hours and features some truly incredible scenery. Your customers will then have a night in Trondheim with an evening and the following day to explore before taking a sleeper train through to Bodo, crossing the Arctic Circle overnight, and having 2 nights in Bodo to explore and hopefully catch the spectacular Northern Lights. And we do include an evening Northern Lights tour up there with a guide and expert, ensuring the best possible chances. After the 2 nights in Bodo, we then take a sleeper train. Oh no, it's a day train then from Bodo down to Trondheim again over the Arctic Circle to take an overnight sleeper from Trondheim through to Oslo. We do this so your customers will get to experience both sleeper and day trains in both directions, so you get to see the full sights of both day and night. It really is well thought through itinerary, and it's definitely on my list. So here we have some Norwegian sleeper trains. Again, very similar to the previous sleeper we were showing you in the Prague Itinerary. Have single and double cabins on board here, no couchettes, as well as standard couch seats, but for the overnight sleep, I would definitely recommend upgrading to a cabin on board here. There is an onboard restaurant as well. So whether your customers would like to have a meal before boarding, say in Trondheim, or taking the service and experiencing some lovely Norwegian food on board the train. Of course, we have some of the sites of Bodo, Trondheim, and Oslo. Now for something with a bit more glamour, the Venice-Simplon-Orient Express through to Verona. Starting off in London Victoria, your customers will board the British Pullman train, so not the Orient Express itself, taking them through to Paris, through to Calais, in fact, sorry. And in Calais, they will board the Orient Express, taking the Orient Express through to Paris and onwards through the Swiss Alps, heading into Verona and having a 3-night stay in Verona to explore. After the customer's 3-night stay in Verona, they will return via Turin and taking a night in Turin before taking a high-speed TGV train directly through to Paris and the Eurostar back to London. This itinerary starts at 3,524 per person and really does take you back to the golden age of travel. Here we have an uncontested icon of the rails. This train has long captured the hearts and imaginations of guests. On the right-hand side, we can see a bar car, a nice setting to just relax and soak in the surroundings or mingle with other guests. The top left, you can see some of the cuisine on board. They have 3 dining cars on board each train, all individually themed over one of the sort of main destinations of the Orient Express, whether that's Venice or Vienna, or of course Istanbul. The head chef has worked on board the train for over 20 years, and you can imagine some of the customers or guests they've prepared food for on board. It really is fine dining at its best. The bottom left there, you can see one of the standard twin cabins. And they do have bunks, so if you do have customers looking for something with a bit more, without ladders, they do also have the Grand Suite, which features again one of those rare double beds, full-size double beds. Or we can also book a cabin suite, which is going to be 2 interconnecting standard twin cabins, allowing for both bottom bunks to be in use. So Verona, whether for the opera or just to explore the beautiful city, is a wonderful option all year round. It really is stunning, as you can see here, sort of spring, summer, all the way through to winter. One of my colleagues has just returned and got to experience the opera at the moment, with much more space, and you can imagine how amazing that would be. So here's a new one for us. We have the Rome, Venice, and Vienna trip. This includes 2 overnight sleeper trains, starting at just 1,639 per person, traveling from London through to Paris and taking a train then on to Lausanne. From Lausanne, your customers will have an overnight stay by Lake Geneva before the following day taking the train through the Simplon Pass down into Rome. I mean, a 2-night stay in Rome and then taking a day train direct up to Venice for a 2-night stay there, where we do include a half-day tour of Murano and Verona, some of the lovely islands around Venice, before taking a sleeper train. So it really does give your customers almost 3 days in Venice, and then taking the sleeper through to Vienna. Having a 2-night stay in Vienna, where we do include a 48-hour Vienna pass, which allows access to Schönbrunn Palace and Spanish Riding School, as well as lots of discounted exhibition entrances and restaurants as well. After a final 2-night stay in Vienna, your customers will take a sleeper train. There's 2 options depending on which day of the week, heading directly into Cologne or directly into Brussels and then taking the Eurostar back over to London. So it really is an action-packed itinerary, but it includes tons and tons of sightseeing passes to make the most of the short stays in each destination. Bottom left there we have Verona and then really brightly coloured houses of the islands. And here are a few more suggestions. So we have the London, Edinburgh and York itinerary. These all do include sleepers, of course. Heading up the east coast, starting in 7 days, just 699, London, Edinburgh and York. We do also have our updated overnight train to Venice. So previously you may have seen our Paris through to Venice sleeper. We now have the Munich over to Venice sleeper, traveling through the stunning Brenner Pass. And the Budapest city break, very much like the Prague city break. 4 days starting at just 809 per person. Don't forget we can tailor make these as well. So if you have seen any options which would you think would work well for your customers, let us know. So what destinations are your customers currently asking about? Have you still got people looking or desperate to get away this year? Or where are you looking at getting away next yourself? And don't forget, we do have a travel agent reduced rate. That's 20% off for yourself and up to 3 travel companions. And that's off of all the ground arrangements. So hotel, sightseeing, transfers, absolutely everything apart from air. So we've got some upcoming webinars and they are all on Wednesdays at 10 AM and 2 PM. If you would like to be signed up for these or any of these in particular, let us know in the questions tab now and we will get you signed up for those. So you just need to click on these very much like you did today. So we have our imperial cities by train, Berlin, Vienna, Prague and more. On the 14th, on the 21st of October, we have Italy by train, our top 5 rail holidays. And the 28th of October, Scotland with Railbookers. Don't forget, these are about half an hour long at 10 AM and 2 PM on Wednesdays. You will be sent through a recording as well. So if you would like those, please do get signed up and we will get that through to you. Or if you have any colleagues who you think would find these useful, feel free to share the links with them as well. Do check out our Railbookers website. It's railbookers.co.uk. We've got some wonderful search options on there, whether it be by popular train routes, scenic trains, or by holiday types as well. Also got great special offers, as mentioned earlier. If you click on the special offers tab, you'll see those listed on there, and you can actually click on them, and it would then filter down to holidays which are applicable for that offer. So do you have any questions at all? I'll give you just a couple of moments to get those into the box. I did note a couple coming through whilst I was going through, so I'll just give you a couple of moments just to pop those into there. It's great to see so many of you wanting to be signed up for our upcoming webinars. Right, so first question here we have from Angela. Is the lounge still functioning on board at the moment? So lounges are still functioning on board the trains at the moment. So for example, with the Orient Express, they've actually started turning down their restaurant into an extra lounge to allow for extra spacing. On the Caledonian Sleeper, it is still operating. You are not sort of confined to your cabin. You can get up and explore the rest of the train. Of course, they are asking for some sort of social distancing on board, but you are allowed to move around on the train and go to the bar car. Got another question here from John. Do most of these trains include complimentary Wi-Fi? They do. Majority of the trains do operate or have Wi-Fi. How reliable they are is questionable. So it's always best to allow for sort of roaming on mobiles. However, a lot of them do have the Wi-Fi included, as you will be travelling through some rural areas. Got another question here from Steve, who's on what's the single supplement. So varies, it really does vary. Some options are better for single passengers than others. So it really can be a difficult one to sort of put an actual figure on that. As obviously, if you're just booking a single cabin, then that would bring down the cost. But if you do need to get a double for single use and so on, if you have any single travellers particularly interested in any of our itineraries, let us know and we can pop something together for you so you can give them an accurate price. Got another question here from Sarah. What are the luggage restrictions? So generally, I would say if you can carry it, you can bring it with you. You're not going to have people weighing your bags like you are at an airport. So if you're planning on doing any shopping whilst away or your customers are, that's not a problem at all. You just need to be able to get it on and off of the trains yourself. However, we can also include assistance throughout if you have customers with any sorts of mobility issues or impairments at all. And I think that's all of the questions. So if I have missed any of them, do forgive me, and I will try and reach out to you all individually. But thank you once again for joining us today. We'll get you signed up for our webinars if you pop that into the box, and I'll hopefully speak to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.